So now you have a sense of who a tastemaker is. It's the goose that lays the golden eggs, and the golden eggs are our clients. And those are the people you want to build a relationship with. The Neighborly was our tastemaker as a result of having that one client in 2016. After 2 short years, maybe they were long years, I'm not sure, we were able to have over 100 franchise brands. We grew like wildfire, all based on having this one tastemaker. And for us, it really transformed our business, and it could also transform your business. Why do you target tastemakers? Based on research by Harvard Business Review and by Bain and these other companies, that a vast majority of the people you want to have as future clients, they all have, majority of them, about 90% of the people you're trying to attract all have something that's called a day one list. What's a day one list? It is the list of agencies that they're going to go to when they start looking for a new partner, right? And out of that 90% of the market that already has a day one list, 90% of those will ultimately choose an agency from that day one list. What we're going to be talking about, I want to sort of give you the keys to the tastemaker strategy. And I'm going to talk about what this strategy is, how it works, and we're actually be doing some real-time workshopping on this together. So I have a worksheet that we'll be working on together, as well as we'll be doing some AI searches together. Grab a pen and a piece of paper, because like one of my mentors, Dan Martell says, he says, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And I want you to be able to capture these ideas so that you can apply them into your agency and really help you guys to grow. Okay, just for purposes of introductions, so that you guys know my background and why I'm somewhat qualified to talk about what I'm gonna share today is, first off, my name is Corey Quinn. I've been in the agency space about 18 years. My last in-house role was at a company called Scorpion. And Scorpion, if you're not familiar, they're a digital marketing agency targeting local service businesses. They're known for attorneys and home services and franchise. While I was there as their chief marketing officer, we were able to grow revenue from 20 million to 150 million. We were able to grow our client base from 1,000 to 14,000 clients. And we grew the company employees from 100 to 1,000. And we grew the sales team from 66 to 60. So a lot of growth in a very, very short period of time. And I learned a lot. I wasn't nearly as gray when I started. A lot of highs and a lot of lows. About 7 years there. But I'm grateful to say that I've since left the company. I wrote a book. You can see an image of it there. But this is what it looks like. It's called Anyone, Not Everyone, and it is truly a guide for helping agencies escape founder-led sales. And I'm grateful to say it's been endorsed by a lot of amazing people, like Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who wrote Who Not How and 10X is easier than 2X, and a lot of others. So I'm excited to come here today, and what we're going to be talking about, I want to sort of give you the keys to the tastemaker strategy. And I'm going to talk about what this strategy is, how it works, and we're actually be doing some real-time workshopping on this together. So I have a worksheet that we'll be working on together, as well as we'll be doing some AI searches together. So it will be interactive. If you're able to interact and able to participate, you're going to get a lot more value than if you were just kicking back and half paying attention. So you guys do you. My only recommendation, my advice is grab a pen and a piece of paper, because like one of my mentors, Dan Martell says, he says, it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. And I want you to be able to capture these ideas so that you can apply them into your agency and really help you guys to grow. So, is everyone ready? Do we have a chat? How does this work on
We do, yeah.
Microsoft?
There is a chat function there. They're usually comfortable using it. There's
Okay,
also a
good.
raise hand feature if you want them to be interactive vocally. Then there's a raise hand feature I can call them as well.
Awesome. That's sweet. So yeah, I'm open. You guys want to chat. If you want to jump on the mic, jump on the mic. I'm here for you. This my goal, my intention is to make sure that this next 54 minutes is extremely high value for you. Okay, so let's jump into it. I have a survey. I want everyone to kind of self-assess where they're at. Question is, who your ideal clients trust the most for agency recommendations? Like, where do they go to? Your next client, who are they going to for agency recommendations? In other words, which agency they should work for. Do they, do they talk to other businesses who are crushing it that they know? Like, people are really growing. Ask them who do they work with? Or maybe do they go to their industry association for referrals? Or do they go to consultants and coaches, people who are training training the agencies? Or your clients, I should say. Or maybe technology vendors. Maybe they talk to their Slack vendor. Who should they hire for marketing as an agency? Or do they leverage their business networking groups, EO, Vistage, so on and so forth? Where do you think your ideal clients, the one that you want to drive into your agency today, who are they going to for agency recommendations? Is it A, B, C, D, or E? I want to drop it in the chat, or you can jump off mute if you like. So A, this is Ty. And I would argue, Ty, that that is, to me, the right answer, right? If your future client's struggling to grow, they talk to their competitors or their people in their industry. They say, well, who are you guys working with, right? And so while all of these are true, right? People do talk to their industry association, their consultants or coaches. In my experience, they are going to talk to other businesses who are crushing it. But the reality is there's no true wrong answer here, okay? There is a lot of truth across all of these. I've already introduced myself, but what I want to do is I want to introduce this idea of tastemakers and give you a context for what that means based on my experience with Scorpion, so that we could talk about how to apply this to your agency. So Scorpion, as I said, focused initially on attorneys and then home service businesses and then on franchise multi-location businesses. Back in 2016, we had one franchising client, a company called The Grounds Guys, and they hired us to do their website and do their PPC and their SEO for not only the corporate brand, but all the locations, right? So it was a really big win for us. It was really important as we were growing. And we also knew that if we did a great job for the Grounds Guys, we might get more franchise business. So the dynamic here is that the Grounds Guys is actually owned by a group of, it's a private equity group called Neighborly. It used to be called the Dwyer Group. And the opportunity for us was, not only are we going to, if we crush it with the Grounds Guys down here in the portfolio of brands, if we crush it for them, we're probably going to be able to also get a couple of the other brands. It turns out that Neighborly is a very well-respected organization. The sort of the parent of all of these franchise brands is an extremely well organization, as well as all of the franchise brands within the Neighborly family are all legacy, well-known, well-run brands. And a lot of the other franchise businesses that were coming up or were competing with them always would emulate them. They'd have the best marketing, the best executives, so on and so forth. They were truly, the industry standard for franchising as it relates to home services. And so again, we knew that if we crush it for the Grounds Guys, we would have an opportunity to win potentially some more of this business. And more importantly, that if we had built a reputation for Scorpion as being the Neighborly go-to agency, we would have a lot of credibility. And so what we did is we serviced the heck out of the Grounds Guys. We went way above and beyond, because that allowed us to get a bunch of the other brands in Neighborly. Our scheme worked. And as a result of being effectively the agency for record for Neighborly and all of these brands, or most of them, we were able to get a lot of warm referrals. We were able to get introductions. We were able to get a lot of notoriety and credibility in the market, as well as great references. It's like, oh, you guys work with Neighborly? Oh, okay, then yeah, we know that you guys are good, type of thing. It was very strategic for us. And that was an example of a tastemaker, right? This Dwyer, was the Dwyer, the Neighborly was our tastemaker as a result of having that one client in 2016. After 2 short years, maybe they were long years, I'm not sure, we were able to have over 100 franchise brands. So we grew like wildfire, all based on having this one tastemaker. And for us, it really transformed our business, and it could also transform your business. By the way, this photo right here is this guy and this guy. There's Scorpion salespeople at the Franchise Association annual conference, big conference. We gave away a Tesla. We gave away a Range Rover. This woman won a Range Rover. We've given away a lot of different cars as a way for us to do our marketing. It was a lot of fun. That's a fun photo from that. But that's the franchise space that we were in. So I want to summarize before we jump into sort of the workshop part of it, which is, what is a tastemaker? Okay. If you think about your ideal client, the next client that's going to be the perfect bullseye, center of the bullseye type of client, that is, let's call it a golden egg, right? That's an amazing client. What a tastemaker does is, the tastemaker is the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? They're the ones who know all the best clients for you, and they also have influence over them. Any thoughts or questions as relates to tastemakers so far? And I'll talk about why to target them. I want to make sure that you guys are coming along for the ride here, and that you're following along. Any questions or thoughts? Anything stand out to you as to what a tastemaker is? Marty, you get this? You following along?
I am.
Okay, excellent.
And just so you know, I know Jennifer does not have a chat feature on hers, so she may be raising her hand to talk.
Okay, great. And honestly, guys, no pressure if you're not in a space to do that. But again, I want to make sure I'm carrying you guys along with me. Okay, so now you have a sense of who a tastemaker is. It's the goose that lays the golden eggs, and the golden eggs are our clients. And those are the people you want to build a relationship with. Why do you target tastemakers? Based on research by Harvard Business Review and by Bain and these other companies, that a vast majority of the people you want to have as future clients, they all have, majority of them, about 90% of the people you're trying to attract all have something that's called a day one list. And what's a day one list? It is the list of agencies that they're going to go to when they start looking for a new partner, right? And out of that 90% of the market that already has a day one list, 90% of those will ultimately choose an agency from that day one list, right? So in other words, if I was going to go and buy a car today, or think about for yourself, you're going to go buy a car. Are you going to go and test drive 50, 100 cars? Or are you probably going to have a short list, a day one list of a couple cars that you'd probably go check out, right? You probably have a day one list, unless you have a lot of time on your hands, right? Maybe you've owned a couple cars, or you want to own another one, or maybe you've been checking out a couple cars online, but it's not an infinite list. It's a very, very short list. And the chances of you buying a car off of your day one list, your short list, is very, very high. So the same thing is true for your agency clients. They also have a list, a short list, and it's likely they're going to buy from them as well. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to get on the day one list. So we're one of the few people that they actually go to talk to in a sales context, so that you actually get the sale. Okay. So this is all about business development. It's about marketing. It's about getting in front of the right people in the industries that you're targeting. Okay. Make sense? Excellent. So what is this? What is the Tastemaker strategy? Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a strategy. It's very powerful. Obviously, we used it at Scorpion. You can start implementing this in your agency. I'm going to read this to you and we'll talk about it. Tastemaker strategy is building intentional relationships with the trusted voices and respected brands in your vertical market who can accelerate your agency's growth through influence and validation. Okay, there's a lot here to unpack. This is a relationship game. This is not a lead gen game. Okay, that's not what we're focused on. We're focused on relationship building. We want to find the trusted voices. These are people within the target audience that you're targeting. Those people trust, right? So you think of influencers, authors, business leaders, those type of people, as well as respected brands. These are brands that, like the Neighborly brand that I mentioned, that other brands and companies in this target audience look up to, they respect, right? Those are the type of brands that you want to target. If you are vertically focused, then this applies to you. So let's say you target dentists. You want to find other tastemakers, or you want to find tastemakers in the dental market, and you want them to accelerate your agency's growth through their influence. They have influence over the market and validation. Okay. If they're talking about your agency, they're a tastemaker, they have a platform, a big audience. If they're talking about your agency, that adds a tremendous amount of credibility. And that's what we're trying to engineer here for you. Make sense? You guys following? Okay. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Okay. So we're going to talk about 2 different tools to run your Tastemaker strategy, which again is a relationship-based strategy to help build your agency. Okay. The first one is you want to identify the tastemakers in a vertical market that you'll be targeting. So again, I'm not sure if each of you or all of you are vertically focused, meaning targeting an industry. I'm going to assume, or I'm going to use examples that are industry focused that you could apply to your situation, or if you're targeting a couple of vertical markets, just choose one. Okay. So we're going to give you a tool set for identifying your tastemakers, who they are. And that's step 1. And then step 2, I'm going to teach you a way to prioritize of all the influencers and the thought leaders that are in your target market. How do you prioritize the right ones so you know where to start and where to start building those relationships? Okay. Good. All right. Talk about the tool number 1. Tool number 1 is we want to use an AI prompt. This world of AI is so cool, you guys. I'm not sure if you guys have got it or if you've gotten the aha, but it is so darn cool. And so I'm going to show you one way you can leverage AI to build the tastemaker list. And we're going to do it right now. In fact, I'm going to do it on my screen. And then once we get through the next piece, we're all going to circle back and do some of this stuff individually and come back as a group. So we want to use 2 tools. We have 2 tools that we need to have. One is perplexity.ai. Does anyone here use Perplexity? Anyone here not use Perplexity? Okay, good. So Perplexity is like ChatGPT. It's like Grok. The reason why I like it here is because it's unlike ChatGPT where it can have a lot of hallucinations, where they make up some stuff in their responses. Perplexity only produces results that it has sourced on the web. So it will go out, it'll do research, it will source a response to your prompt, and it will actually provide you with links to those sources. So no hallucinations here, or ideally there's no hallucinations. So it's a very high quality research tool. So we're going to use Perplexity, and you need a good AI prompt to put into Perplexity to give you the list of tastemakers in your vertical market. Okay. So those are the 2 tools. Again, I'm going to share my screen. We'll go through this together. You'll see how it works. The 3 steps are you want to copy and paste the AI prompt into Perplexity. I'm going to give you the AI prompt. You can have it. You can run it. You're running it on this training call. The step 2 is customize the prompt for your vertical market. So again, we're going to apply a vertical market focus to this. So we're going to use, I think, senior living as an example for this. And I'll show you how to do that. And then when the results come back, you want to check and verify that the results are actually legitimate. You don't want to just assume that what Perplexity provides you with, even though I just said that it's high quality, you definitely want to check to make sure that they are, in fact, real people, that they're truly influencers. Okay.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Thank you. That's the world we live in. So I'm going to
Yep.
I will go through that in a minute. We'll go through the whole process. The second step, I'll take you all the way through this, and we'll go through, and then we'll step through it together. So the second step in the process is, once you have this list of influencers as tastemakers in your vertical market, the ones that your clients look to for referrals, you want to prioritize those tastemakers so you know which ones to target from a relationship building perspective. So what do I mean by that? Something that I call an opportunity matrix, Tastemaker Opportunity Matrix. And the matrix is based on, it's not the Matrix, the movie, but this matrix is based on a couple, basically a 2x2, a quadrant, let's call it. And the different criteria are high accessibility. So we want to make sure we identify those tastemakers. I keep wanting to say influencers, tastemakers that you can access, that are accessible to you, maybe through your personal network, your professional network, through your college alumni, whatever that is for you. Like, make it, we want to rate them on how accessible they are, high versus low, right? So are they high accessible or low accessible? The other attribute that we're going to rate them on is their level of influence. Do they have a low level of influence? Are they just known like sort of a local celebrity, or are they maybe a high influence, meaning that they have a big following, lots of followers, like lots of recognition? Maybe they're a big author, right? And so what we want to do is we want to understand, of all the influencers that we're going to be targeting for this strategy, where do they end up on this matrix? So for example, if they are highly accessible, but they don't have a lot of influence, those are what I call easy wins. Okay. These are the folks that are going to be pretty easy to get because they're accessible. They may not be in super demand from a competitive perspective as far as building relationships with them. If they are low influence and low accessibility, I want you to ignore these for this strategy, meaning they're hard to get a hold of and they don't have a lot of influence. Just ignore them. Okay. The next matrix, or the next quadrant here, is if they have high influence, they're very influential in the market, but they're low accessibility, which means that they're hard to get a hold of. I'm going to recommend that you make them a future target. What I mean by that is, don't take them off your list, but you may not be able to really build a direct relationship with them in the short run. And then the last quadrant is a priority focus. Why? Well, because they have a lot of influence and they're easy to get in touch with. Make sense? So what is hard to see here, but what I really want you to zero in on for, let's say, this quarter, maybe next quarter, when you're thinking about implementing this, is that there is an additional area for this 2x2, which is in the far upper right-hand corner, this area right here. This is the influencers and the tastemakers that are the most influential and the easiest to get in touch with. It's going to be a small list, one, maybe two. Those are the people that are going to be the highest value and the most actionable. Okay. That clear what this matrix is and how it can help you to sort through this list of tastemakers. Yeah. I'm going to give you a bunch of tools. In fact, why don't we go and do this right now? I'm going to share my other screen. And as I'm jumping into this, any questions jumping out, feel free to drop it into the chat or come off the mute. Again, I'm very friendly. I don't bite, and I'm happy to answer any questions. If I've lost you, let me know. I'll try to get you back up to speed. So let me share my other screen. All right. So I have a number of prompts, but we're going to go into industry tastemakers, and the prompt is right here. And I'm going to make sure you guys have access to this when we start working on this together, when you guys do this for yourselves. So here's the prompt. It's fairly straightforward. You just copy it. And then I want you to put it into Perplexity. Okay. It's perplexity.ai. It looks like this. You don't have to have the pro version. And you're going to drop the prompt into, like, paste it in there. The only thing you need to modify in this prompt is at the very top. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm highlighting vertical market.
Thank you.
It's the only thing you have to update. What's that?
Yes, that helped. Thank you. Making it a little bit larger.
So we're going to do senior living. That's an industry, that's a vertical market. Whatever vertical market applies to your situation, obviously just put that in there. Everything else is fine. You just hit enter, and it will go and do all the research. And it shouldn't take more than a minute. It's kind of cool. You could see it's like where it's looking up all these sources, 69 different sources it's going to come up with a response.
Wow.
And look at this. It's already spitting it out. Awesome. So we'll walk through this here in a minute. But a lot of really, really great, potentially really great tastemakers. So let me walk through what's in here so you know what to look for when you're doing it, when you're doing this yourself. And Ty, I will give it to you in just a minute. I'll put it in the chat so you'll have access to it. So let's go. The responses, or the output, was senior living tastemakers and influencers, a structured analysis for business development. Top 5 most respected brands in senior living. Okay, so this is the brand, these actual businesses like the Neighborly. Based on market leadership, innovation awards, media presence, and professional involvement, the following brands stand out. The first one is Brookdale Senior Living. I'm not sure if any of you are familiar with this industry, but they have 55,000 units. It's pretty big. Their innovation or thought leadership is focused on technology, wellness, and personalized care. They've got a lot of awards. They have over 100 communities recognized by the U.S. News. Media presence, they've got a national media presence, strong online presence, and they have professional organizational involvement in a couple of organizations in the industry. So if you had them, let's say you're an agency targeting senior living centers, and Brookdale, the largest provider, was your client, all the other businesses will probably know who Brookdale is, and the fact that they're working with you adds a tremendous amount of credibility, right? So that's the thinking here. So what this is initially doing here at the top is identifying the brands that would bring you a lot of credibility. So I don't have to go through the others, but there's a number of other, I think there's a total of 5 that are listed here, right? These are the big ones, and definitely worth building relationships with. So these are the individuals. We talked about the companies now. Now these are the people that are the tastemakers and influencers. So not surprising, Brookdale CEO, Cindy Bayer, she her key platforms are LinkedIn, industry events, and media. Interesting that she's on LinkedIn. Maybe you can reach out to her, shoot her up a DM. Major content themes. She talks about leadership, innovation, and senior care, notable achievements, professional affiliations, approximate audience size. So 20,000 LinkedIn followers. Okay. Another CEO, Tanya Gall. She's on LinkedIn, conferences, media, similar. She talks about DEI. She talks about resident experience. By the way, the content themes are important. Any guesses why the content that these people care about? Like why would that be important if you're trying to build a relationship with them? The answer is, if I give you the answer, what are you going to say, Marty?
Building a relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Someone who really cares about DEI. Yeah, if you want to reach out to them, you talk about DEI or, wellness as an example. Now, these are big categories of content topics, but this is exactly right, Marty. That's the reason why this is important. So on and so forth. So there are 10 of these in here. There's a bunch of other notables, right? 3 tastemaker profiles. Here's an example. Steve Moran, his key platforms, senior living, foresight, blog. So he has a blog. Awesome. He's a content provider. He's a creator. He has a podcast on LinkedIn, YouTube. Content themes are leadership, innovation, sales, marketing, resident engagement, recent achievements, expanded podcast reach, frequent speaker. Again, if you want to get in touch with Steve, go check out his blog, go check out his podcast, and shoot him a note about about his recent speech. Right, you're going to get his attention. And all of a sudden, you're building a relationship with this guy. Hannah Brown, so on and so forth. I'm guessing you guys are getting the sense of how this works and what's in here. One other aspect of this prompt is going to be helpful, which is emerging trends and patterns. So what's happening in the industry that you could clue into is when you're reaching out to these folks. Visual and video content for TikTok and YouTube, podcast, digital panels, common topics, high engagement content types, professional events, so on and so forth. So do you think that this would be valuable in trying to build a very focused strategy on building relationships with these folks? Okay, good. Beautiful. Now,
definitely.
Great. So what we'll do is, now that we have a little bit of time here, and this is a time for each of you to start playing with this a little bit. I'm going to share with you the prompt, and then I want you to run it, and then I'm going to share with you also this workbook. Now it's a bit of an eye chart, so I'll bump it up. This tab right here, Tastemaker Opportunity Matrix, is where you would put the name of the person or the company, and then you would rate their influence score, 1 to 5. Okay, 5 is a lot of influence, 1 is not that much influence. Accessibility, how accessible are they? Are they your cousin? That's a pretty high accessible, like they're highly accessible. Or are they some Fortune 200 company CEO that you've never talked to? There's probably accessibility of 1. It's hard to get in touch with. And then as a result of that, do you want to make them a priority focus, an easy win, a future target, or ignore them? Again, that's what we just drew out on the slide. Okay. So what I want to do is I will give you the prompt, and I'll also give you a link to this where you can go in and begin to fill this out. I'm going to put about 10 minutes on the timer. I'd love for you guys to go jump into Perplexity, jump into this matrix, begin to fill it out, and then come back. We can all come back. And if you have questions along the way or as a result of doing this, that will be the time to ask, so that you have a good sense going forward after this call on how to actually create that great list for you to go out and implement. By the way, we probably won't have time today, but there are tabs here or ways to create value for them. So for instance, let's say you targeted Marty Clemens as a thought leader and as a tastemaker. You would think about what are their goals or what are their needs that they're looking to achieve in their role. And then think about, well, what can we offer Marty? Can we offer some content, maybe event, give an opportunity to speak, so on and so forth. Do a research project, use case studies. What is a unique value add? And then what would be their gain and our gain, right? So begin to strategize about how we can actually build a relationship. And then finally, again, we're not gonna have time for this, but there's also a way to map out your engagement plan. So that's a tool that's available to you. It's in the spreadsheet that I'm gonna share with you right now. And you can use it however you like, okay? Enough of me talking. I'm gonna send you 2 things. I'm gonna send you a prompt, and I'm gonna send you a link to this spreadsheet that you can just make a copy and start to use it. I'll spend 10 minutes. We'll do 10 minutes. And in that 10 minutes, you're gonna run prompt and then begin to prioritize your tastemakers. That's number 1. And then 2, any questions before we jump into this? But in addition to where's the stuff, I will get that to you. Any questions? Okay. Well, Alicia, hopefully there'll be a great recording for you. Alicia's saying this, that she's not able to do the exercise. This will definitely be recorded, right, Marty?
It is. It is.
Okay. Okay, excellent. So you can come back to this again and again, and you can listen to my sweet voice. Let me drop the prompt in there. Okay, so I'm gonna drop it into the chat. This is the prompt. You have it. Now it's just a straight copy and paste. And then also, but you do want to put your vertical market. You'll see it highlighted. And then secondarily, I will give you the worksheet. Second one is the worksheet. It's going to ask you to make a copy of it. And as you guys are getting oriented, feel free to just dive into the work. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask. And I will, again, I'm going to put 10 minutes on. And then I don't know if we have some like light music we can play or something like that. Some thinking music. Let's just go ahead and do that. All right, I got 10 minutes on the timer. And again, feel free to jump off mute if you have questions. All right. So just from a high level, folks, what was that experience like? Did you, what was it like to use Perplexity? Which vertical market did you go? Did you use? What were the results like? Was it good results? Was it interesting? Any insights or takeaways from the research part of it? Anything surprising? Marty, look like you were having a good time over there.
I was using. So I first put the prompt in the chat GBT, came back a widely different, not just the content was different, but just the layout was different.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I liked your layout better. So I went to Perplexity, it just logged right in. Came back also with different content, not just different from my chat GBT content, but also from what yours pulled up. But the layout was much better. So to me, it was a good indication of Perplexity might be in my toolbox as well now, as along with ChatGPT. But the content that's there is the prompt's great. It gives you lots of content so that we can utilize to reach out to. It gives you an idea of who to type, the types of people you need to reach out to, who to reach out to, and it gives you a lot of information about what you need to do and how to do it. It's not just reaching out going, hi, can I be your friend? It gives you a lot of information to really focus in on how to do it, what to do, and give you the best chance to get a positive outcome.
Yeah, I was just I agree with. Go ahead, Alex.
So I wonder, is there a way that we'd be able to drop in our existing contacts from LinkedIn and say, is there anyone here that is useful to me?
Yeah.
Like, is there anyone here that's a tastemaker that I can reach out to that I already have? You know, they're already a low-hanging fruit. Do you think there's a way to do that?
I think so. I mean, if you can get the names, if you can export the names of the people in your network on LinkedIn, or maybe their profile URL, that may be a way to do it.
Yeah, I wonder if there's I have a hefty number of contacts in here, but I wonder. You can
using his prompt
contract. Okay, so you can export it into a file, and then I can dump that in to a GPT. Okay, into Perplexity. Okay.
Yeah, and honestly, like the way to approach it is with the attitude of curiosity and fun and play, because a lot of this stuff is brand new, and these things are new tools that are being worked on, behind our backs. But there's some good nuggets that come out of it, and certainly this prompt has been helpful to me and my clients.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I come from the tech world in the Bay Area, so I have a lot of good contacts, and I'm just wondering, like, I have some old, CEOs that have moved on from whatever company that I was working at and started their own things. I was just like checking them out, I was stalking them on LinkedIn, and like, how do I approach this? Something to think about, though. I appreciate that. I didn't even think of that before, but this is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would play with his prompt and use that with your contact list, because you're going to be basically what you're doing is you're educating the AI system to go, hey, this is what I'm looking for. This is the tastemakers I'm looking for. And then go, do these compare?
Thanks.
Yeah. One thing as you guys were doing that, I was also kind of flipping around in the response from Perplexity. And there were something like 60 some odd sources. One of the sources was an article about what was the big topics of conversation at the latest industry conference.
Oh, wow.
And that's an article, right? So I could go in and I could take that article and I can say, I'm trying to reach out to so-and-so. I'd love to talk about the top, what some of the trending topics from the conference. Will you help me draft an outreach email that references the fact that these were the topics at the conference, give my perspective, that type of thing. Like that type of outreach is much more interesting than, hey, would you like to talk about marketing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So again, lots of cool ways to do this. What I want to do with our remaining time is just give you guys some homework so you can continue to build on this when we part ways. And really the 3 pieces of homework are: play with the AI prompts, continue to leverage Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, all of these. Play with them, but use the prompt in multiple platforms, multiple times, and get a good list of people that really seem promising. That if you could get in front of them, build a relationship with them, that would actually really help you to grow over the long run. And then prioritize those tastemakers using the opportunity matrix. Try and find those tastemakers that are in the far upper right-hand corner, that little quadrant, that little hidden quadrant, that are the most accessible, the most influential, and just focus on those. Forget about everyone else. Like, honestly, just focus on those. You can land a couple relationships with a couple of those. That would be amazing. And then the last piece is draft an outreach plan. And that is in the document that I shared with the opportunity matrix, the Google Sheet. There's a couple of tabs in there for, that are built to really help you to build out a plan, to be intentional about outreach, what the topics are, how are they going to benefit from this, and how are you going to benefit from this, all that stuff. Again, just tools for you to really flesh out a strategy to build some of these relationships. One final thing is that this tastemaker strategy is a long-term strategy. It's not super quick lead gen. It takes time to build trust and awareness, but as a result of establishing those relationships, it will really help to put some wind in your sails as you grow your agency over the long run.
This is excellent.
Cool. I'm glad it was a good use of everyone's time. I'm glad it's being recorded. You guys are welcome to use these resources over and over again.
Thanks for the prompt.
What's that?
Thanks for the prompt.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's good. It's gold. My pleasure. My pleasure. Yeah. It is something I just recently built, and it gives you a scalability score for your agency. Okay. And it's a 5-minute assessment. You can just scan that little guy right there. And as a bonus for doing that, you get a copy of my audiobook. Fully narrated by me. Like, I don't know, 3 hours of me talking. It's like your business coach in your ears. So that's as a thank you for doing the agency, sorry, the growth roadmap and scalability score. You're going to get a report, show you where you're at. That's all that is. You're just going to get a really great readout on where you're at from a scalability perspective. So welcome anyone who wants to take that. It takes about 5 minutes. So that's all, folks.
Excellent. Excellent. I do want to reiterate just what you said before on the previous slide. What the important thing is, this is a long-term approach, guys. Okay, so don't go after the quick home runs, because you're only going to get one shot at them. Once you reach out to them, if you kind of bumble it up, you bumbled it. Got to move on to the next one. So kind of do your homework, utilize the tools and resources that he gave you, create the plan, do a little bit of homework, and figure out how the best way to attack each one of these, because that's the whole point, is relationship building with them. Because the chances of you just going right in and just going, hey, connect with me, let's become friends, that's probably going to be pretty low. But Corey, thank you so much. This is a lot of great information. We really appreciate it. And
no problem. We'll talk soon.
We will. Thank you.
Bye,
everybody.